What's up, guys? Can you tell by my outfit today what's to come this week? If you guessed St. Patrick's Day, you would be right. Are you ready for some fun? Let's do it. Alright, what's up, you guys? Today is Monday. We actually have a full week. It is the week before spring break, and crazily enough, we are actually kind of lucky and kind of not. Today is the 6th. St. Patrick's Day will actually fall over our spring break next week, but I couldn't miss all the Leprechaun fun. So we decided to do leprechauns and St. Patrick's Day anyway. So the kids are starting to bring their traps in. You can see I have 2 of them here so far. The rest of them will come in by Thursday. So I'm so excited. I was telling them how that naughty leprechaun messes up my classroom every year, and we are going to catch him this year. So you need to hang on tight and see if we catch this thing. So today, I have 2 favorite St. Patrick's Day and like leprechaun stories. One of them is how to catch a leprechaun, which I had let someone borrow it last year, and I have no idea where it is. That I feel like I need to create a log of who I let borrow what, because I let people borrow them and then I end up not getting them back and I end up having to buy them again, which is fine, but it stinks at the same time and can get expensive. So I'm gonna actually see if our librarian has the book. I could of course get it like online, but I really like to read them the tangible book. It's a me issue. But today we read my other favorite, Leprechaun on the Loose, and I was kind of starting to freak out. Okay, so Friday my principal had like called me to the office after school, and I was like, what? It doesn't matter if you do something or not. You're just always like, what did I do? And she actually told me that my class had the most growth in reading and math in our entire school, which, kissing my brain for that one. Like, we did that, killed it, did that. So it's amazing. And at the same time though, I now have this like crazy anxiety in a way of like needing to make sure that we make growth again in the spring, which for us to make as much growth as we did in the winter, it's going to be hard to do it for spring. So I was looking this weekend at the schedule, and like next week we'll have spring break, so that'll bring us already to the end of March when we get back, and then MAPS testing will start the 3rd. It opens, and then we have till the end of April, so it's like crunch time. So I really want to make sure over the next couple weeks that I go back through and really hit everything as best as I can. So with Leprechaun on the Loose, I was like, let's go back to basics and we're gonna review character and setting. So that's exactly what we did today. We had this awesome anchor chart that we created, and let me flip this so you can see our anchor chart that we made.
Yeah.
I know I shocked you. That's my mom, Liz. She's ready to go, can you tell? So this was our anchor chart, Leprechaun on the Loose. So we've reviewed again what a character and setting is, and I know it seems so crazy because this seems to be so many words, but my students, I pointed out character, right? So just in this is a sight word, this, and this is all sight words. So it's just these 2 words out of all of that they kind of pretty much can't decode, sound out, or recognize just through things that we've done in their story in like class. And we've already talked about like CH, we've talked about AR, we've talked about OR. So they were really able to, I had numerous students that were able to read this whole thing by themselves, and the same thing with this. If you noticed, I had who, where, and when underline, and I did that to kind of I want to start pointing out question words to them. So we talked about like who, what, when, where, why, and how. These, I honestly had finished making this when I got to school here today. So I didn't print them in color. I would have loved to have them printed in color, but it just shows too that like if you don't have a color printer, or you just want to print it from school and not waste your ink, you're more than happy to. So we talked about all of the characters, and in the pack that I made, I just put the leprechaun Sydney, he's the boy in the story, and some of the classmates in there. But then the kids had also noted these other characters, like the fish, the hamster, forgive my hamster drawing, and then the teacher. So I just drew those on there, and it was kind of good that, like, I was glad that they were thinking outside of the box and we were able to add to, like, what I already had planned. And then for the setting, we talked about how the setting is where and when the story happens. It happened in school, in the classroom, and then we talked about how it was like during the day because we don't go to school at night. So this was our anchor chart, and then we did a follow-up activity after this. So our follow-up activity, I kept going back and forth with which one I was gonna do. I had made it have 3 different options. So one of them, this was one that like we did a lot at the beginning of the year, to where like they would draw the character and draw the setting, but now they're kind of able to do sentences. So up until this past week, I would have the sentence frame for them. The main character is, the setting is, and now today I wanted to see what they could do on their own. So I did guide them through this one on this side. So you could see the student had put the main character is the leprechaun. And like I have been really showing them how to use tools around the classroom. So I pointed out to them how we have words like character and setting on our paper. We talked about how leprechaun is spelled up on our anchor chart. So I'm trying to get them to utilize things that are around them, because I know some teachers kind of don't like doing that because it doesn't teach them, but I feel like it does, in that I feel like even as adults, whenever we need to find information, we use our resources. So I just think it's a good tool for them to be able to know where to look. And I feel like in kinder, it's important for us to teach them where to look to find these things. Then they had to write one on their own, and this student had only wrote the classroom. So I really want to start challenging them to write like an entire sentence and a complete one at that. So they did so good. One of the things that I wanted to make sure that I did this time was put the I can at the top. And even though it sounds silly and like the kids can't read it, just for myself when I'm going through, I really want to just start kind of like honing in on like everything that we need to get done. So we did this today. It came out really good. The students really loved the story. If you've never read Leprechaun on the Loose, there is a leprechaun in the classroom that only the main character Sydney can hear and see, and the leprechaun causes all of this trouble, and Sydney keeps getting blamed for all of the trouble that's going on in the classroom. So I don't want to give away the ending, but it was definitely a good one and the kids really enjoyed it. Okay, so I kind of slacked on recording yesterday and doing all the things. We had a new student, and he was homeschooled, and I find, I don't know if other teachers do, but I find like students that were homeschooled have a really hard time adjusting to just regular school life, socially, some of the time academically. So yesterday it was a lot of just like redirection and seeing what he knew and didn't know and stuff like that. So I apologize for not recording as much as I would have liked to yesterday, but there were just other things that were more important, and by the end of the day I was exhausted. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But today we did read another one of my St. Patrick's Day books. So I know like I've showed you guys in the past, but I always keep them on the shelf over here. So we read another one today. I still didn't even ask the librarian if she has the How to Catch a Leprechaun, so we'll probably just watch it tomorrow. So we've already read a couple books now, but today though, it's almost like time to get back in like testing mindset. And so I need to like, I'm trying to think of like all the things we need to kind of go back and review. So I need to go back to making sure I'm doing a graph a week and then reviewing shapes too. So we definitely will do a graph tomorrow of if we think we will catch the leprechaun or not. And then today though, we did a leprechaun shape and he came out so cute. Check it out. This was mine, of course. So we did this, and then on the back side we did it this way. So I know you're probably like, well, how did they record their shapes? So what we did was we first built the leprechaun and had not glued him onto this green paper, and we kind of had their leprechaun that was glued together and this paper side by side like this, and then we did all of the counting and recording. This time, if you've ever seen these videos in the past, you would know that in the past, instead of like the word triangle, I had a picture there representing it instead. And this is completely differentiated in my pack, but since we are about to go into testing and I know they start to take some of like those tools away from them, I wanted them to like, I want them to start struggling a little bit so that they know the proper way to start sounding out and to try to figure out on their own, because otherwise, I remember last year at the end of the year, I was a little disappointed just like in myself in some ways, because I hadn't really gave them that productive struggle to where then they learned to like, okay, if I don't know the word, I need to try to sound it out. So this time we did the words, and like I was so proud of them because we've been doing so many different word patterns and phonetic spelling and sounding out and blending and all the things. So they did so good. The only one that gave them a hard time was circle, and that wasn't bad because we haven't talked about soft C. So but they did so good. And then so after we had this part filled out, then I just had them, I gave them this. So this was already, this white paper was already glued onto the green construction paper, so they easily just had this leprechaun next to them. And then so all they had to do was like flip their paper over then, and then they were able to glue their leprechaun on. And then I hung, you could see that they're all hung up. I'm gonna like show you some of them. So this guy did not a full beard, but you could see then they were able to add eyebrows. This one even added cheeks, how cute. And yeah, they did so good. I was super proud of them. Adorable. So they're hung up from like both sides. And then the cool part is then on the flip side, all the work is there. In the past, when I've done these, I've done it on the long construction papers and had it side by side. And not that I wouldn't do that, but I had the intention of hanging them up from here, and I knew that like the long papers would droop. So that's why I did it like this. But of course, do it however you would like to. We've had a couple more traps come in. I'm hoping we get some more tomorrow. But they'll bring them in tomorrow, and I'm so excited to see all of them. So tomorrow's gonna be fun. And I totally slept and did not let the parents know about what they need to bring in for Friday, so now I'm gonna have to buy it myself. Fail. Teacher fail.
So I got it, so I'm doing it. Lola, you keep doing it.
Hey, you guys. All right, today, it's about to be that time of the month, so I just felt super feisty today. It was like, my smart comments get the best of me sometimes, and I just kind of become short patient, and I just have to be careful what I say. My new student is like, he's trying so hard to do a lot better. It's just so hard. Like, he has a hard time like writing his name, and like holding scissors was a struggle. So it's literally back to square one, and it's just so hard to have, I'm just gonna be honest, it's really hard to have the patience with that this time of year, because I'm prepping the rest of them for first grade, like they're first grade ready, and then I have one that's week 1 kinder, you know. So it's such a difference, and it's okay, it's out of mind right now. So today though, we read the story How to Catch a Leprechaun, and we actually listened to it on our big screen, and they loved the story. And then after we listened to the story How to Catch a Leprechaun, we then made this class anchor chart about if we will catch the leprechaun or not. So you could see we had like a pretty even, it wasn't pretty even, but by far, at first it was like all yeses, and then once we had one no, then it kind of like, there was a couple others that were brave enough to say it. But will we catch the leprechaun? So the majority of us think that yes, we will catch the leprechaun. We did, while I taught the graph, or like while the kids came up, if you've never seen one of my videos before, we haven't done a graph in a while, to be honest, but what we do is all of the kids sit on the carpet, and they sit by their tables. So they have like their table supply bucket, which you could see over there. They bring the crayon caddy over to the carpet, and then on the carpet they'll have their whiteboard, their pencil, and then their paper goes on the whiteboard, so that this way they have something hard to write on. And then one at a time, the kids come up, they share with everyone with a full sentence, whatever their opinion is, and then they go back to their seat. And as they share it, the rest of us are charting it on our graph. So my copy, I typically always keep up here. Oh, hold on a second. I'm just gonna stare at my face while I do this real quick. Okay. So yeah, so you can see here's my version. So I chart mine up here while the kids are charting theirs out on the carpet right here. So this was really fun. Following our leprechaun shape man that we made yesterday. And now at the end of the day, oh wait, we actually had, you know what? I didn't give myself enough credit today. I felt like we really didn't do a lot today, and we actually did the complete opposite. So that was like our morning, and then this afternoon, we've been doing subtraction. So we did a pot of gold subtraction, and what the kids got when they did this one, they had gotten a pot, they got the number sentence, and then each one of them got a different amount of gold that they had to cut out, so that this way, I have them actually right here. So this way you could see, like, this friend had 6 minus 3. And then so for this, we practiced counting and scooting their gold to see how much they had before they glued them on. And then in their math toolkit, each one of them has a dice that they keep inside. I could actually show you one. I need to start being better about like recording as we're doing stuff, but I'm gonna be honest with, like, since I have like a student teacher, I really try to like not like, I'm sure they like wouldn't understand like why I have my phone out when we're doing activities, like, so some of the times I just don't care, but so yeah, anyways, so they all inside their math toolkits, they have a dice, because, and these they actually keep in there. I typically don't keep tons of stuff in their math toolkit, just what we're working on at the time, but one thing I always keep on there are counters and a dice, just because we use those a lot and they kind of go across different units that we do. So for the dice, this friend started with 6, so then they would roll it, and then however many the dice had, well, I actually rolled a 5 just like that's on this one. Then they did the cross out strategy. You can see this up close. They did the cross out strategy then to show how many to cross out. And I had modeled one before. I let all of them do it. So I showed them, I'm going to show you one with like a smaller one, for example. So I had showed them, like, let's say for example, this one. This friend only had 4. So I told them, now if I had rolled a 5 and we practiced on our fingers, like 4, let's try to take away 5. We can't do that because 5 is a bigger number. So I had showed them how, like, then if they did get a bigger number than the number we started with, they had to roll again until they had a smaller number. So that was something I showed them. My class this year is really good about following directions. There's always like the 1 or 2 that have a hard time, but this activity actually went on without any hiccups, I will say. They did fantastic on this. So that was super exciting. I'm gonna hang up there. Oh, actually, you could hang them up with me right now. I gotta take down our ducks. Our ducks are president, so we're gonna take down the ducks and we're putting up the gold. Here we go. Pots of gold are up. I love doing a theme and then having like a couple of days to kind of do stuff, because then you could see our room is then like pretty festive already for St. Patrick's Day. We got our leprechauns up there. We got our pot of golds over here. They did really good at them. So yep, that's done. Tomorrow, I think we might do it in the morning just so that they're kind of up for our St. Patrick's Day in the afternoon. We're gonna make rainbows with ways to 10, so we'll do that tomorrow. And then our tree will be filled with rainbows, so that'll be super cute. And then, okay, now today at the end of the day, the kids had all brought in their leprechaun traps today, so at the end of the day today, the kids got to place their leprechaun traps all around the room. So I'm gonna go around so you could see what they look like, because they did such a good job. did so good, right? They look fantastic. I'm so proud of them. Such a good time. So we have to get out of here because that naughty leprechaun is gonna be coming. And you know, every other year we've never caught him, but our traps this year are top tier, so we just might catch him. You also know that I slacked on letting my parents know what we needed for St. Patrick's Day, so we were literally at Walmart at 9 o'clock at night. Happy St. Patty's, guys. Okay, if you notice, I'm in the hallway and I'm quiet because the kids are inside learning, but this morning we had dads and donuts, which I totally feel like should be called dudes and donuts because like uncles and grandparents are welcome too. But I wanted to show you, okay, for one, here, look at this mess the leprechaun made today. Wait, turn the lights on. Turn the lights on. Go, open. What So the kids were beside themselves when they walked in today, but before we mess up our snack table and get to doing all the things, I want to show you what it looks like. So I'm gonna go over and show you what it looks like, but I can't talk for long, but I definitely will get back with you in a little bit. It's the end of St. Patty's Day, which also means it is the last day before break. So this part, I'm not gonna dip yet and go quick, but I am ready to peace out. Okay. So my daughter and my son have been so kind to help me get this room a little bit cleaned up because it was a hot mess today. We literally probably got to like half of the stuff that I had planned for today, which kind of sucks, but oh yeah, I'm jingly. But at the same time, it was fine. They knew no different. They had a blast. We had to split kids today. It's like the worst news ever. The day started with a dads and donuts, like I had mentioned earlier, so that was super fun. I love seeing like past kiddos and their families, so that was a good time. So they already came in sugar rush today, and then I did not make it any better. This morning we started with pancakes. And I had found the cutest idea on Pinterest to do like little baby stacks of pancakes and then whipped cream for the clouds and then the Airhead Extreme for like the rainbow. So I found these at Walmart, and I have a microwave in my classroom, so I just microwaved them and then passed them all out. Check this out. So we did that, and then if you know me, you know I love Pete the Cat. So we did some of our regular, we were working on SL and GL as our blends this week, so we did our spelling test today. I know I'm evil, I still made them do a spelling test, but we reviewed, we did a spelling test, and then we read Pete the Cat, and then it was the St. Patrick's Day one. And then for writing, we wrote about what we would do on St. Patrick's Day, and they had to finish the sentence frame. And I kept that normal. Like, I had something else that I wanted to do during that time, and it was going to be more of like a St. Patrick's escape room. But because we had other kids, I already had one go home sick, and yeah, I was like, it wasn't. So I'm going to save all that for next year, and hopefully I'll just have my own kids that day. And then in math, we've been working with addition and subtraction. So today in our unit, it was supposed to be ways to make 10. So I created the cutest thing that we did. Let's see if I have one of the rainbows, but you could see the craft that we made. Oh, here's mine so that you could see it up close. So they had we did this anchor chart. Look how cute this is. So ways to make 10. So what I would do is I would call in a kid to pick a number, right? Hold on, my other son is calling me. Let me get this. Okay, sorry. My oldest always calls me when he gets like home from school, so anyways, so what I would do was all of the kids, they had this chart, and what I did was took Lucky Charms and I gave each one of them a napkin and a cup full of Lucky Charms on their napkin. And then so I would call on a kid to pick a number, and let's say they picked 2. So then on this side of the chart we would put 2 Lucky Charms, and then we would use a strategy counting up. So they put the number in their head, so we would go 2, and then we would place the Lucky Charms on the other side until we reached 10, and then we would count and scoot to see how many more we had needed, and then we would chart it on our anchor chart, and I would have like a kid read me what they thought the equation would be. So like you could see 2 + 8 = 10 was one of our equations, and then after that they would take their strips and they would write that equation that we did on the strip and then add it to their cloud. So it was so cute. They came out so good. This is up in my TPT. There's like a couple different variations, and in it, the anchor chart comes in it, the craft comes in it. There's this way for them to make 10. There is a number bond, and then there's a 10 frame. And then when we get back from spring break, we're actually going to do the same thing again, but we'll do it now with like, I want to expose them to the number bonds and then to the 10 frame so they could see how it looks in all the different ways. So that was super fun.
Miss 7, 8. I have 10 of these.
You have 10 over there?
Yeah.
So what do you have on this side?
0.
What do you think your equation's going to be?
These are all 10 because I have 10 of them. You give me watch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So what do you think your equation's going to be?
Just 10.
Just 10?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think your equation's going to be?
0
Well, let's think. We have 0 on this side. How many do we have on this side?
0 plus 10
0 plus 10.
equals 10.
Ooh. That was pretty much like how we ended our day. I gave them mustaches, which was super cute. And then I wanted to do the escape room, but we just didn't have enough time. So in the escape room, I was going to have it to where once they figured it out, they found the box of treasure with one of a Skittle in it for each of them, but it did not go that way. So when we get back though, I had also wanted to make rainbows with Fruit Loops. So I think when we get back, I'm going to do the number bonds with Fruit Loops, and then I'll let them make a rainbow with the Fruit Loops. And we also didn't get to the punch, like all the things. So we're going to do all of that when we get back. And this lot I'll just take home to my own kids, and then I'll just get fresh for when we get back. But oh man, I am one tired teacher today, but this was St. Patty's Day in my room. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Peace out. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at Hero on Heels.